And we're live.
Ooh, I like that one. If you could have one exotic pet, non-human, what would it be? What would it be? Man, there's so many cool like exotic pets out there. I'm gonna let Taylor take the monkeys, but I've always had my eye on a raccoon because they're very intelligent and they have those people hands. I find it incredibly heartwarming when I watch them wash their food and then because they like wash their food because they're like, river critters and they're always by the water and they wash it off with their hands and then they take it and take nibbles. And there's that video or GIF maybe that I've seen on Reddit where they give one cotton candy and when he tries to wash the cotton candy, it just dissolves.
Disappears. He's just baffled.
Comes over the raccoon's face. He's not baffled. He's sad and a little upset. He's like, oh, my cotton candy. That was the most delicious thing I've ever touched in my goddamn life. And the fuck?
How am I supposed to go back to berries?
And then I watched that. I felt so bad. And then I watched I did a little research and found out a little more. And then there's more of the video and they give him some more cotton candy. He's like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Don't wash it this time. Yeah.
But yeah, I would go with a raccoon.
Okay, good choice.
I'm obviously going with a capuchin monkey, I think.
I didn't know what kind of monkey.
Little organ grinder monkey. Yes. I don't want a lemur. I don't want something that's going to be having an enormous tail that's prehensile and swinging around on things. That would be much harder. A sloth is, I feel like I would almost get upset with it because it wouldn't be able to do anything. Like with a monkey, at least I could train it to do a few tricks. Like I could be like, hey, go long, buddy, and throw him like a little Nerf football or something. And that would be, and he'd catch it and then he would throw it back poorly, of course, because he's a monkey. And catch it, and that'd be a fun thing. With a sloth, you couldn't do that. Like sloth, I don't feel like there are many games you can play other than look at this goddamn sloth. Like look at that. We want to look at it over there. I'll have to carry it unless you want to wait till Tuesday.
So
it's fun.
I'm assuming when I make this choice that I'll be able to train it and we'll bond. I want some kind of bird of prey. It could be an eagle. It could be a falcon. It could be like I don't know, some turkey vulture or something.
You want a peregrine falcon.
We could go flying together. He could just get shit. He could take care of other birds. Is there a goose in there? You know what? Fuck that goose up. Make an example out of him for all the other geese in the area. I think it would be neat to have a badass bird as an exotic pet.
So what kind
flying
of
buddies?
falcon?
I'll say.
I got this. No. Let me have
no. I'm listening.
Mistake. The bald eagle eats mostly dead animals. It's not really much of a predator at all. What you want is the peregrine falcon.
Isn't it small though?
Speed.
They are small. They're very small.
They travel at 240 miles an hour or something like that. Like they're outrageously fast.
But I travel at 30. He's got to be able to be comfortable soaring with me.
He will. No, he doesn't all the time. 240. They dive and hit shit. Bring it to you.
I feel like I would bore him. I think I want maybe an albatross. Don't they have really long arms, like wings?
It'd be ironic if you bought an albatross and it was a horrible purchase. You're like, God damn it! I shouldn't have bought.
But doesn't it have a $14
albatross? Maybe an owl would be a good one.
Ooh,
or they're nocturnal.
Albatross has a 14-foot wingspan, doesn't it? Am I making this up? Mixing it up with a different bird?
That sounds like a dinosaur.
That sounds like 14-foot wingspan. I don't think that's alive.
Yeah, I saw that in a museum.
It says 11 foot.
Songs in a museum.
11-foot wingspan on the high end for an albatross. 11-foot bird would be really cool. I'd be up there in my paramotor, and he'd be my flying buddy, and we'd go around.
He'd get sucked in.
I feel like
they're tangled in the ropes.
If I got in a bad mood, it could really fuck you up, right?
I don't think so. I think I can kick any bird's ass.
False. Have you? The emus and ostriches are so scary, dude.
I stand corrected. I think you're right. They might beat me up. I don't
know. They got those claws, those hooks. They're a lot like
Yeah.
velociraptors. If you've ever seen an ostrich up close,
I could beat any flying bird.
Ah, yeah. Hey,
I really feel like I could grab them by the feet, even if they hurt my hand or something. You just smash them on the ground. They have those hollow bones.
Yeah, if you just hold them, you could crush it with your hand, I think, and you just feel snap, 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 snap. It'd be like what's those
Henrietta?
No, it would almost be like breaking up a glow stick.
Actually, let's take a minute here and think about how much trouble Woody had with a chicken. All right, so maybe if a falcon swoops down, he's and he's swinging at it with that machete. Maybe it gets his eyes. Maybe that's game over.
I say that even a swan can fuck you up. Like a swan apparently can like swing its wing hard enough to like break your arm or something. I don't know if that's true.
I really doubt that.
Maybe it could break a child's arm, perhaps drown it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe that. But have you seen those geese that fuck with like businessmen and like people walking down the street? I wouldn't tolerate a fucking second of that from a goose. Listen to me, honker. Like I'm top of around here. You come honking at me doing that with the wings all puffed out like I'm gonna kick you so fucking hard. Feathers are gonna fly like I shot a pillow with a 12 gauge. Like you're done. And I saw a guy grab one by the neck one time and he was like, "Hey, stop this!" and like threw it. I would take that neck and fucking pull the head, and then I would grip hard enough that the blood wouldn't leave your brain, and I'd look at your still living head that I'd taken off and be like, "This is what you get." I hate those fucking.
It would be
geese.
looking back at you, just being like, "I'm a bird. Yeah, it's what I do. I don't know any better." You know, I hate geese, but I guarantee, Kyle, if you're out in the middle of a Walmart parking lot and you're pushing that cart to your car, you're just out there, and there's, you're parked really far back. There's 10 geese back there. If 4 of those geese start charging at you on the ground, you are going to be panicked, because I would be panicked, because I wouldn't know how to engage in avian flight or avian.
Here's the problem. All right, so I admit that in a Walmart parking lot, I would not attack a federally protected species, which I think some of those Canadian geese maybe are. I don't know. Definitely, if they're out of season, you can't. I know there's like a goose season, so you could definitely kill them if you got a license.
Self-defense is usually allowed.
I think if you stomp out 4 geese at Walmart, the police might have something to say about that, and certainly the game enforcement agent, which are just all around our little area, would. But if we're on my turf, I don't care how many geese there are. Like maybe that's a question. Like, how many 10-year-olds can you take? How many geese could you fight? I could take dozens of geese.
Question, Kyle.
So bad. Dozens of geese, you'd be dead.
Dozens. No.
Fly you up in the air.
Realistically, all right, there are deer that come on my property all the time. They eat the grass or do whatever. If I wanted to eat one, like, what would be there's no game wardens in my yard. Like, how would they fuck with me? How would if I just shot it?
What are you describing doing? Like, describe to me what you would do.
Okay. I observe a goose in my front yard and I shoot it. And then I ask somebody for help on turning it into food.
I don't know about geese because I don't know what
deer was the thing.
Deer.
Oh, if it's not and we're not in season. You're talking about shooting out of season, or are you talking about like how to get meat from a deer you might kill? If you do it out of season and you ask someone, they're probably going to rat you out, and you're going to pay a hefty fine, lose your rifle that you use in the commission. If you were in or near a vehicle, you'll lose that too. Probably not going to do jail time because you could afford a lawyer.
It's goose.
You're gonna be a lot of trouble. If you shot a falcon in your yard with a shotgun, same thing. They're gonna take your gun. They're gonna fine you heavily. If you shoot a deer, though, it's pretty serious. It's poaching. It's game, wildlife and game enforcement or whatever, and they have a different rule book than the police do as far as
season. How does that change things? Because I'm already convinced out of season's a terrible idea.
Oh yeah.
Well, you still have to hunt in a legal area. Like you couldn't shoot your yard, I would think.
As far as the legality of shooting your yard, I don't quite know that because I don't know your precise area. It depends on the distance from the road. Like you'd have to really start measuring, and if someone said something, there might be a thing.
It's a distance from other people, and it needs to be like 100 yards or 300 yards. I forget which.
It's distance from a road as well, like any road.
I looked up the law, unless it's different for the animal thing. I just looked up because I was thinking about putting a shooting range.
It is different for the animal.
Oh, okay, but even. I don't know. I'd have to double check.
You'd have to. There's probably a certain area on your property which it would all be good, but there are definitely margins around that, like where it's not good. Like anytime, and they have some. What you really want to do if you actually wanted to hunt? I'm not sure what we're getting at here, but if
is that $2 worth of food walking in my yard? Maybe I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of is. It costs a little bit of money to get a deer processed, and that's the term. Like if you want to find someone who does that for you, just Google deer processing and then your locality, and you'll find it. I haven't done one in a long time, but I think it's like $150 to like get the whole thing done, maybe, and like get all the meat. I just haven't done it since I was a kid. These days, I get deer meat from other people who have more than they want, so I'm not quite sure.
Because there's deer around. I sometimes wonder, like, is that free food? I've never even eaten venison. I've heard that it's If you prepare, it's only good if you prepare it just right. I've heard.
Part of it, here's
it's
what
pretty
I
good.
believe. Here's my own personal belief as far as venison tasting gamey, because I've never experienced that. The deer that I shot all die instantly because of the way I shoot them and the caliber that I use. They would always drop and they'd just be fucking dead. There wouldn't even be there wouldn't be very much blood even because his heart wasn't pumping for very long after I shot him. He's just dead. But I see in like depicted in movies, and then I hear people describe to me their hunts of deers running away and them having to track it with a blood trail. And I think that the adrenaline dump makes the meat taste like shit.
I've heard that. Too. I've read that.
I didn't know how true that was, but I've heard. Yeah, I've never noticed them tasting too gamey. I like venison.
Yeah. It's okay. It's not as good as beef. Like just keep that in mind.
Not as good
if
as
you
beef.
think about this more. It's not as good as beef.
There's a reason we chose cows. Yeah.
Well, they're easy to
Is
herd.
it not as good as
control, and
chicken?
treat. It's very
different than chicken because it's red meat.
Yeah, it's closer to. It's very different. I don't know. You when you're eating it, you're not like, wow, I'll order this next time. You're just like, oh, okay, here's another thing.
You ever had elk?
Yeah. Well,
Tastes a lot like elk.
We had elk on that last trip.
I've had buffalo.
Yeah.
I've had buffalo too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how it
Ted
compares to
Turner.
buffalo.
Ted Turner, who of course owns, I don't know how many buffalo, but it's an enormous amount. Like he owns probably more buffalo than anyone on the planet because he's got all that land out west. He has a restaurant in Atlanta called, I don't know, probably Ted Turner's Restaurant, and they serve buffalo there. And so I've had buffalo a few times there.
Yeah, there was a buffalo not far from where, or a restaurant not far from work that served buffalo. You could get like buffalo burgers and steak or something. Tasted like hamburger to me.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how most exotic meats are. I think most of the time, whenever you get that stuff, it's more about the experience or saying you've done it than anything. Because we had those elk steaks in Colorado, and I was like, feel like we're really overpaying.
I talked about this before, but I had an alligator, and I didn't expect it to be fish, but that's pretty much what it was.
We ordered alligator as well. It came in little bits that were fried, tossed in dip or something. What a fucking ripoff that restaurant is. Oldest restaurant in Colorado. Don't go. Or Denver. Don't go there. I'll never go there again.
Nope.
That was a
Never.
mistake. I was good to go. We got to see all those dead animals on the wall. That was interesting.
For like it's like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we're only there for an hour and a half. I mean.
Yeah. It was really the face that the waitress made when I made routine requests. We'd like to order our food now. Could I have a drink? Like just the little things that she was unpleased by. But anyway.